How does it feel when you have been working in an industry for about 50 years, and then, all of a sudden, you have to seek an urgent retirement? Well, for Teri Garr, it would be quite a sad day when she would break the news on the TV screens. But for Hollywood and her fans, it would be a pretty shocking headline. So, you guys must be curious about what led her to announce such heartbreaking news. So, without any wait, let's start today's video that says what Teri Garr reveals about her MS diagnosis is sad.
His veins, his feet, his hands, his organs would all have to be increased in size.
Exactly.
He would have an enormous Schwanzzucker.
Bring enough money for camp.
That's okay, it's cheaper to get mugged. Let's walk. Shoot. The fears are really insane now anyway.
Why didn't you have a good time?
I did have a good time.
But before discussing the sad news, let's explore a little about the actress's early life. Teri Ann Garr, born on December 11, 1944, is an American actress whose name once lit up the screens with her effortless charm. Her career spanned over 4 decades, and she successfully saw her grace over 140 films and television shows. But beyond the laughter and applause, her journey as an actress in Hollywood was very flexible. Garr was mostly known for her comedic roles. Hence, she managed to bring joy to the lives of millions of people who impatiently waited for her screen appearance. However, little was anyone aware of the tragic news that marked Garr's upcoming life as a battle, due to which she had to make enormous life decisions. With her grand entrance into Hollywood, Garr's early rise to fame was fueled by her frequent appearances on variety shows in the 1960s. Her undeniable talent shone through on Shindig, where she danced her way into the hearts of viewers. But these were just the opening acts for what was to come. Her multiple skills captured the attention of many directors and producers. Hence, her minor speaking roles were soon followed by popular shows like That Girl and The Andy Griffith Show. She also made her mark as a dancer in several Elvis Presley movies, which was proof of her versatility and her determination to break through in the industry. Nevertheless, the real breakthrough came when she was cast as a regular on the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour in the early 1970s. This wasn't just a show, but for her, it was a turning point in her showbiz life. She had appeared in around 50 episodes of the show, solidifying her place as a demanding celebrity. Gradually, the industry began to take notice of her. Therefore, Garr became an iconic guest who was often invited on game shows, including the Hollywood Squares, where she appeared twice in 1975 and 25 times in 2001 and 2002, when the show again took over the television screen. As Garr flawlessly made her way through Hollywood, she found herself representing the very essence of beauty and sex appeal that the industry demanded from the actors. Apart from this, the young lady brought something more to the table, an unusual charm that made her the mainstay actress for lovable yet feather-brained characters. Her early roles were primarily non-speaking bit parts, but that all transformed in 1968, a year that proved to be exceptional in her career. In 1974, a drastic change was brought in Garr's life as a superstar. She was cast as the Bavarian lab assistant Inga in Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein, a film often hailed as one of the best comedies ever made. This role didn't just make Garr an icon, it also made her a match in pop culture. The success of Young Frankenstein opened the door to a slew of other roles, including parts in Steven Spielberg's blockbuster Close Encounters of the Third Kind, The Escape Artist, and The Black Stallion. By the time she turned 38, Garr had landed a role in Tootsie. This performance earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. She was at the peak of her career, and the world seemed to be at her feet. The first significant milestone was her role in an episode of Star Trek, the original series titled Assignment Earth. In her 2005 autobiography, Speed Bumps, Flooring It Through Hollywood, Garr reflected on this moment as her big break. That same year, she landed her first speaking part in a film, Head, a role for which she thanked her colleague Jack Nicholson, who had written the film. Yet, as the saying goes, all the good things must come to an end. As Garr approached her 40s, she faced a harsh reality that many women in Hollywood had to encounter after they crossed the line of 30. As HuffPost emotionally noted, few leading roles are written for women over 40. Women in their 40s and up are someone's mom or somebody's wife in the background. Despite her immense talent and charm, Garr found herself sidelined as she was reduced to roles that lacked the depth and complexity she truly deserved. However, just when it seemed like Garr was composed to step into these elderly roles gracefully, life threw her a devastating curveball. In 1999, after years of experiencing strange symptoms, which initiated with a nervous impulse in her foot and a prickling sensation in her arm, Garr was shockingly diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS. She kept the news to herself and decided to continue her career with the ailment. She said that signs had been there since the early 1980s, but the journey to a firm diagnosis was long and frustrating as initially no doctor could identify her problem, nor was it reported in any of the medical tests or examinations. In an interview with Brain and Life, Garr recalled, "Every movie I did, I'd go see a different doctor, and everyone had a different opinion about what it might be." The final diagnosis in 1999 was both a nightmare and a relief that, at last, her illness had been exposed. MS is described by the National Multiple Sclerosis Society as an abnormal response of the body's immune system directed against the central nervous system. For Garr, it felt like a death sentence to her career. Determined to keep working, Garr initially tried to hide her symptoms. But as rumors about her health began to swirl, she decided to take control of the narrative. Hence, in 2002, what Teri Garr revealed about her MS diagnosis was sad and shocking for her friends, co-actors, and fans. She made a significant decision in her life as she publicly revealed her diagnosis on CNN's Larry King Live. She told Brain and Life, "I think some people want you to be upset. Not only am I not upset, but I'm okay." And with that same rebellious spirit that had carried her through decades in Hollywood, she added, "Maybe it has to do with my show business background. You're always being told that you're not right for something, not tall enough, not pretty enough, whatever. I would say, but I'm smart, I'm talented, I'm this, I'm that. I've always been able to do that, and I do it now with MS." She further shared her struggle, or, more precisely, a battle that she has faced for nearly 2 decades in silence, which took the ghostly shape of different heart-wrenching rumors on its secret diagnosis. "I do go on with my life," she said, her voice steady, but we could clearly hear the silent pain behind it. The good news now is that there are many medicines and options out there for people like me. Her optimism peaked at this point, when she labeled her diagnosis as good news. Well, it was actually good news because, before that, people with MS would die a painful death, as the disease couldn't be diagnosed. Moreover, as medical technology advanced, doctors and scientists invented medicines that could not finish the ailment, but proved to be helpful in further slowing down the disorder and preventing the patient from a dark, agonizing death. Garr, who first captivated audiences as a dancer and then as an inaudible actress in Elvis Presley films, had been living with these sore symptoms for 19 long years. It took nearly all that time for doctors to give a name to her condition finally. She further put forward her statement regarding all the rumors that led her to publicize her medical situation. She said, "I think everybody is scared and frightened when they hear something like that. she admitted that her fear is still evident, despite her calm behavior. That's because there's not a lot of information out there about it. Fate had decided to play with the lady's charming appearance further, as, at age 52, Garr found a slight limp in her leg. Hence, she had to take the support of a leg brace. She took medication daily to manage her symptoms, which became a stark contrast and a hurdle to the energetic performer the world once knew. "I've been in denial about the MS," she confessed, her voice revealing the inner struggle. "But I'm not depressed. I don't think negatively about any of it." Despite facing such vivacious illness, she continued to pursue her acting career as she managed to get roles in Searching for Deborah Winger and Ghost World. Though she was an Oscar nominee for her unforgettable performance as Sandy in 1982's Tootsie, but the realities of her illness overshadowed much of her Hollywood legacy. Garr receives interferon injections 3 times a week. Hence, as she endured this painful routine with resilience that mirrors her on-screen personality, the respect of her fans increased. She started to serve as a paid ambassador for MS Lifelines in 2005, a program offering hope to those battling the same relentless disease, partly funded by a pharmaceutical company. Multiple sclerosis had already claimed much from Garr. It caused her symptoms ranging from numbness and poor coordination to blindness and paralysis. In another interview, she discussed Hollywood's brutal face. She stated that Hollywood has its own culture, as it's a harsh place where rumors spread like wildfire, and perception often shapes reality. Anyone cannot remain steady in this industry, where the walls actually have ears. Even if you say anything to yourself in complete isolation, it will hear it and explode that news to everyone around. With a heavy heart, she admitted that when the whispers about my health began, the inquiries started to vary from genuine concern to thinly veiled curiosity that took over the thoughts of paparazzi and many other keen people, including her fans. Initially, she used to let the gossip fly in thin air. However, the actual problem started when this gossip began to have an immediate and devastating effect on Garr's career. She further claimed that the moment word went out that she had MS, it was as if her career fell off a cliff. Opportunities vanished overnight. Her phone kept ringing, but not for the reasons she had hoped. The calls were more about her health than her availability for roles. For her, it was over. The industry had moved on, satisfied by the buzz, leaving me behind. It hurts when a person who had ruled the entertainment industry for so long is now only being offered the roles used to create awareness. However, Teri took the chance as a golden opportunity, as after the publicity storm following her announcement about MS, her new role, or to be more precise, her new job, was to be a spokesperson for Serono, which was a drug for MS. She found the job to be one of the most fulfilling activities she had ever come across. As the entertainment industry stopped offering her roles, she turned the side of her career. She found herself at MS seminars, where first, a doctor would lay out the cold, hard facts about the disease. Then, she owned that same stage for 30 straight minutes as she delivered an impactful speech about living with MS, which was not all about precautions and symptoms, but was instead a dialogue laced with humor and jokes. She couldn't play humorous roles now, but she could create humor of her own to take out the people with the same ailment from depression and anxiety. She remembered when, for the first time, she got to play the role of herself for lifetime. And the best part of it was that no entertainment agency could steal that role from her. However, this character needed more than just a script, as it required springiness, grace, and a lot of expensive costumes. The idea of conveying speeches that spread awareness as well as humor was something incredibly fulfilling, as Teri thought that even a tiny difference in someone's life would create a huge impact on her new character. She also said that she wanted her stories to connect with others who shared her struggle, as she only wanted to make these people smile, even if just for a moment. She believed, and still does believe, that a positive attitude and a sense of humor are powerful tools to upturn anyone's life. She felt that, coupled with medical treatment, they can make all the difference. Moreover, science even backs this up. She recalled the time when she delivered her first speech, when she stood at the podium for her first speech and looked out at the audience. She remembered that there were more women than men, people of all ages, some in business suits and others in jeans. Slim canes dotted the rows like exclamation points, and wheelchairs were scattered throughout. She said that this crowd was different from any she had encountered before, as these were real people from all walks of life. But more than that, these were the people who shared something deeply personal with her, as they all had MS, or were there to support each other. The realization hit her hard, as the craziness in her body wasn't just her private nightmare, as these people knew and understood about it even better than her. She envisioned that they weren't filming movies while battling their symptoms. However, they were doing something big as they were living their lives, raising children, working, and paying bills, all while fighting their own silent battles. She also brought to mind that as she prepared herself for that first talk, she didn't know what to expect and how the audience would react to seeing her new face. She questioned herself. How would she feel exposed? Vulnerable? Surprisingly, no. It felt like she was conquering years of confusion and misdiagnosis. As she spoke, she knew that she was making a connection with this audience as she used words like my MS peers, my people. There was a raw, honest solidarity among the host and the audience at that time. They could laugh about the little things, like tripping on a rug corner, because they all understood the struggle. Teri wasn't just making them laugh, but was healing too. She felt that she didn't need to explain anything as they already knew about everything. She said that her first speech as an MS fighter was more than just a performance, as it was true. Moreover, in her speeches, Teri would often quote Norman Vincent Peale. You should always shoot for the moon because even if you don't get there, you get a lot of other good stuff along the way. This quote was a reminder to keep pushing forward, no matter what happens. She would wrap up by thanking everyone for coming, hoping to see them on their journey to the moon as she added humor to her ending. Teri Garr revealed that her body had given her a wonderful life. Now, it was time for her mind and spirit to return the favor by sharing her journey with others. She was sad to consider further that the skills she honed as an actress became invaluable in this new role. Apart from this, she stated, we don't make the rules. The only thing we can truly control in life and in dealing with any affliction is our attitude. I've never met anyone with a perfect life, perfect health, perfect marriage, perfect everything. Everyone has their struggles, and yet, we all find a way to keep going. I remember an 84-year-old friend of mine who's had MS for 50 years. She once told me that, over time, she's come to see it as just a lifelong annoyance. That's the best way I've heard to describe it, and it's how I've chosen to deal with it. An annoyance, like a pair of bunions. It's not pleasant, but it's part of who I am. Using a wheelchair, Teri still manages to cover her awareness campaigns and even different award shows. She succeeded in flaunting on the red carpet while being seated on that chair that she carries with her, like a throne. In an interview with Studio 10, she further continued to be aware that MS is a disease that is not inherited or is passed down from genes, but is random, and anybody can get it. When the host questioned her wit, she said that her sense of humor was still undamaged, and she still managed to make herself laugh every day. Moreover, in her latest reunion with Frankenstein's cast, the director shared his experience of how he pitched Teri Garr for the character. At many spots, the lady's tongue stuttered as if she was struggling to speak. In that interview, she also shared her experience with her other co-stars. She further told the host about her parents' struggle and how her father was a drunk person while her mother was a dancer. Hence, she carried her legacy forward as a dancer to the screen. She further specified that she sided her ways with the entertainment industry in 2007 and took a whole new turn in her life by raising awareness of the harsh disease. Teri Garr's struggles and battle with the disease showed her that life will not end if you have to face any non-inherited life-lasting disease. Despite this, life is the name of ups and downs, and we should learn to live with our harsh realities and just happily cope with them. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel.